The Menu is a 2022 dark comedy thriller directed by Mark Mylod and written by the duo of Seth Rise and Will Tracy. While 2022 started off strong with The Northman, it also had a strong ending with The Menu. I blatantly love this movie, and if you've seen my theater review, you'd already know that. This film is best when you go in knowing near to nothing, so I highly suggest stopping this video, watching the film, and then coming back. This video will seem pretty ironic come that moment. The film's tale follows Margot, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who is brought to dine at an elite dinner party. The host and chef of this event is Chef Slowick, played by Ralph Fiennes. One day I'll do Coriolanus, but not today. Not yet. What starts off as a simple artsy-fartsy multi-course meal turns into something much more devious. Something planned and with a dark outcome for the diners who will be eating food that is, indeed, to die for. Again, if that sounds cool, do like I said and turn off this video. If not, we get right into the plot as Margot is waiting at the pier with her boyfriend, Tyler, played by Nicholas Hoult. His character is the food expert as shown when he tells Margot off for smoking, as, quote, it will ruin the experience for her.
Margot, tonight is huge, okay? The flavor profiles, it's all super delicate. When you smoke, you ruin your ability to be able to appreciate them.
I've met this kind before in many a field. But what is this experience? Well, it's a night of fine dining for 12. The majority of the named cast is shown off here, so I'm going to do my best to give a quick rundown. Lillian, played by Janet McTeer, is a renowned food critic who has brought along her magazine's editor, Ted, played by Paul Edelstein. Next is a trio of foodies who are businessmen working with the owner of the island. You have Bryce, Soren, and Dave, played each by Rob Yang, Arturo Castro, and Mark St. Cyr. Tyler sums them up pretty well.
Great. Power tasting. They'll be wasted by the amuse.
Then we have John Leguizamo as, well, IMDb just says movie star, so I'll name him Steven. This'll make sense later. He's with his assistant, Felicity Lynn, played by Amy Carrero. And finally, two wealthy regulars, Richard and Anne Labrant, played by Reed Birney and Judith Light. Richards catches the eye of Margot, but that's left alone as the parties board the boat and the first dish is served. Not the first course, as this film will roughly be divided up between courses, but still a course that gives us a bit more of the characters.
I think I'd prefer just the oyster, though. Love oysters.
No, it's the balance of the products. You need the mouthfeel of the mignonette.
Arriving at the island, we learn something shocking. Leguizamo's character is actually named George Diaz, which IMDb points out under the trivia, but still credits him as movie star. As such, I will continue calling him Steven. It'll make sense at the end. The real news comes when Margot discovers that another woman was marked for her position on the guest list, something that smooths over relatively easily. Hong Chao, playing Elsa, gives the group the island tour, showing them the smokehouse where the staff lives, and, at the question of Tyler, points out where the chef lives. Arriving to the dining room, there's only one rule: no photographs.
Chef strongly feels that the beauty in his creations lies in their ephemeral nature.
Yep, you gotta be specific, as No Flash has somewhat lost its absolute status. Anyways, we start the chapter, Amuse-Bouche. I have no clue if I said that right or wrong, I honestly don't know. Which is a small savory item of food served as an appetizer before a meal. The more you know. It goes over relatively well with the crowd, even if most are caught up in their own interpersonal drama. The only one unimpressed is Margot. Meanwhile, Tyler is shown to be rather obsessed.
I've watched him plate a raw scallop during its last dying contraction of muscle. It's art on the edge of the abyss, which is where God works too.
I typically just rewatch Kitchen Nightmares because it's funny, you weirdo. On to the first course, and it comes complete with a little introduction by Chef Slowick himself.
Do not eat. Taste.
So, digging in, we see that Tyler is holding steady, absolutely loving this. While the critics critique, the regulars are silent on the meal, but the wife keeps looking over at Margot. And the foodies, oh, they're wondering where the rest of the food is. I'm sure come the next course, the calorie count will rise. I mean, he is talking up bread, and that stuff is designed to make you feel less hungry.
But you, my dear guests, are not the common man, and so tonight, you get no bread.
Well, that's a good chuckle. Though some guests are surprised to find that this is no joke.
It's gotta be a bit. Are you fucking serious?
Even worse, some of them still manage to nitpick the unaccompanied accompaniments.
But this emulsion does look slightly split.
Meanwhile, Tyler is starting to get on my nerves as it becomes very clear he's that guy. And oh boy, have I experienced that guy.
You like this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's basically insulting you.
No, you don't get it. It's a concept.
But he'll get his later. Right now it's time to start our running gag of the movie for the critic.
Miss Bloom, here is another broken emulsion, courtesy of Chef Slowick.
The foodies complain about the lack of food, but a whispered and veiled threat silences the one. Meanwhile, Chef has taken notice of Margot and her apparent lack of appetite.
Please eat. The menu only makes sense if you eat.
But you told us not to eat.
That is not what I meant, madam.
I mean, you technically didn't give her any food, so she kinda has a point here. This leads to a bit of bickering between Margot and Tyler over the apparent disrespect, and we sizzle into the third course. This one is memory, which is funny as Anne swears Margot looks like her daughter, and Chef is here with another story.
A child in Waterloo, Iowa. Tuesday was taco night. Oh, yeah. Taco Tuesday.
Fun fact, the crew is encouraged to do one scripted take and one more off-the-cuff take. That's how we get lines like this, and I like it. You get a thumbs up from me. I can only wonder where this happy story will go.
He proceeded to wrap a telephone cord around her neck and pull it tight. I wept.
Well, Taco Tuesday took a twist. Yeah, so Chef stabbed his drunken father in the thigh with cooking scissors. And hey, the meal is tacos with chicken thigh. But the part of the course that gets everyone's attention is the tortillas. Tortillas with a special laser cooking machine that depicts various pictures. The critics, it shows restaurants that once criticized closed down. The regulars have fond memories, with one showing Richard with a young woman unknown to Anna. Tyler is shown a picture of him taking pictures. Pictureception. Meanwhile, Steven gets reminded of his time on a half-hearted movie he performed on, but wasn't all that into. The most distressing of all comes at the foodies table, where it's shown they're illegally gaming the flow of money.
What the hell are these?
These are tortillas, which contain Echo Bright's tax records and other documents showing how your company has created invoices with fake charges.
So is she more like a Google search or a Bing search? I know my information is being stolen, but typically Google isn't this upfront. While they decide to keep calm, Tyler does the exact fucking opposite when Margot tries to send the food back.
Tyler, you need to apologize to me right now. You cannot speak to me that way.
Actually, I can, because ding dong, I'm the one who's paying, so maybe shut up and eat.
Well, that's enough to make a person want to smoke. Line one up, she spies some strange going-ons over in the woods. Slowick, however, steals her attention.
You shouldn't be in here.
1, it's my restaurant. And 2, apparently dudes can be in here. Weird times. Anywho, just who are you?
Who are you?
I am Margot.
Returning to her table, this dips us into the fourth course, the mess. Slowick brings out one of his chefs, telling everyone that he is the creator. This chef, called Jeremy and played by Adam Aldrich, is then exposed by Slowick. He points out how in the pursuit of pleasing people, he'll never know he's destroyed his life. In the end, he isn't happy with his life, and he doesn't want Slowick's life anymore.
The mess.
This act throws the room into chaos. The kitchen staff go about removing the body and cleaning any bloodstains. Meanwhile, the dish is served, and at least Tyler's enjoying his food. Dinner and a show, I suppose. While Grindhouse Improv Theater isn't for everyone, and Richards tries to leave with his wife. And boy, does this get out of hand fast.
Mr. Lieber, please hold still.
This is where the film starts taking a very sinister tone. The veiled threats are gone as the menu continues. Slowick still asks for Margot's true identity. He even sets a clock, giving her time to think it over. But why, you may be wondering?
With us or with them?
Can I be on the side that doesn't die?
We're all gonna die tonight.
Well, this has been very heavy so far. How about a palate cleanser? Not wanting to stay for tea time, an escape is attempted, but proves to be in vain. But hey, foodies, your boss, that angel investor for the chef over there, well, he's gonna be an angel for a little sister now.
Request substitutions, despite the fact that there are no substitutions at all!
Well, time is up for more than one person as Margot is taken to Slowick's office, where he manages to get the information he desires. Margot, in fact, isn't Tyler's wife, fiancée, or even girlfriend. She's a high-end, classy escort, which is different from a common whore. Mainly since an escort isn't always hired for sex, similar to, say, a hostess club. Something I really don't understand the appeal of. But yeah, Richards, well, he's got a friend named Dick. He likes to beat.
Is that he told me to tell him that he was a good man and that I was his daughter and that he loved me and I loved him.
You know what? On a second viewing, a ton of dialogue hits very different now. Anyways, outside we go for the next course, this time headed by Catherine, played by Christina Brucato. Seems Slowick made 2 separate advances on her, both of which were denied. This results in an 8-month-long cold shoulder. God damn, there are Russian winters that are shorter. Well, the dish is called Man's Folly, so after a pair of kitchen scissors to the thigh, a challenge is issued. To the men exclusively. They are granted this one chance to run, and after a brief head start, the staff will pursue. While this is going on, the women are brought inside to dine with Catherine, who Lillian tries to bribe with a boost in her career.
Oh, everyone dying was my pitch, actually. Super proud of it.
One by one, the guys are caught, with Soren making it the furthest. However, Ted is the one to outlast them all by playing chicken with the chickens.
A special bite for the last guest to be caught. A little play on the passard egg with creme fraiche and maple.
Brought back, the evening continues with more revelations. Tyler here, he's known for months how this night would end. His original date left him, and he brought Margot in an attempt not to upset the plan. Fun fact, Anya Taylor-Joy was the one to suggest her character strike Tyler. Yeah, I think we all can agree that's a very reasonable response. Oh, but Tyler's punishment is just beginning. Come along, join the crew. Here's a jacket with your name. Now cook something.
You're a cook.
Oh, I don't know if I can cook here.
Cook.
No?
Cook.
I don't.
Cook. Go on.
Well, this is becoming a kitchen nightmare rather fast, and he even went for the lamb, making this kind of Hell's Kitchen.
Butter, leeks and shallots sautéed in butter. I bear witness to a revolution in cuisine.
Serving up his dish called Tyler's Bullshit.
It's actually quite bad.
A few whispered words, and we see later that instead of a blaze of glory, he's just hanging around in back. But something is missing in the back. A simple barrel. A barrel missed by Elsa. Anyways, Margot, I think you're one of us, so be a dear and go grab it from the smokehouse. Heading to get it, Elsa goes audition and stalks Margot.
Why would you die for him?
You will not replace me.
She wasn't told of the barrel and swears she won't be replaced. What better way to secure a position than to kill off your competition? So a surprisingly brutal brawl takes place between the two. Honestly, with the pacing of the film, I didn't expect her to see more action here than in The Northman.
He didn't tell me about the barrel. I didn't forget.
Exploring a bit, she finds Chef's office and discovers that once upon a time, at a simple burger joint, he was happy. Once success came on, he just got slowly more depressed. But more importantly, there's a radio. Golly gee, things are getting intense, but looking up. So what's happening back at the dining room?
You told him it was my birthday?
Seemed funny about 3 hours ago.
This will be a birthday to remember. Margot arrives with the barrel and takes her seat, but the sounds of a boat shock them all. Slowick isn't so slow, and he, along with his staff, begin to disguise things. When the officer walks in, everything seems normal, if slightly off. Before he leaves, he spots Steven, who played in that movie called Dr. Sunshine. Brief part I skipped over, that movie is why he'll be dying tonight. After getting a signature, the officer sees the problem and goes in the cop mode. But wait a minute. I thought Coast Guards weren't allowed to have beards.
Hey, don't got nothing to do with it. No.
Well, that brief moment over, it comes down to one final plan from Margot. Insult the chef to his face.
You failed, and you've bored me. And the worst part is, I'm still fucking hungry.
Pointing out how he's failed as a chef and just become some artsy-fartsy airhead. So Slowick, on his own, makes a cheeseburger. Much to the amazement of the entire staff, biting into the burger proves delicious. The only problem is she's rather full from those few bites and asks if she can get it to go. Leaving, we watch as the final course is carried out. If you're interested in the way fire works, like me, you may be catching on to what's going to happen here. That's right, it's s'mores time, and everyone is going to melt. Weirdly, they're all rather mellow about it. I guess that's just the way the cracker crumbles.
I love you all. We love you, Chef!
Using a fake Coast Guard's boat, Margot sits on the pier and watches as everything burns. Meanwhile, she enjoys that burger. Which, fun fact, just like in the movie, most of the actors IRL were not allowed to eat the food they were shown. They were so hungry when they saw Margot actually eat the burger that John Leguizamo went out and just bought everyone burgers and fries. You don't know how much I was hoping there wasn't a twist to the ending. If that burger was poisoned or something, it would have destroyed the movie. But nope, that's the menu, and it's a real treat. Being made on a budget of 32 million USD, it would go on to heavily surpass this with a complete gross of almost 80 million USD. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival September 10th, 2022. A final release was in South Korea December 7th, 2022, though technically Italy is the latest with an internet release of January 4th, 2023. The film would be inspired by writer Will Tracy's dining experience at Cornelius Shajoma restaurant, that's close enough, an island restaurant outside Bergen, Norway. Nothing near this film's events took place, but it gave him the idea. Originally, Joy's character was to be played by Emma Stone, but Stone had to commit to other films at the time. Guizamo decided to base his acting off of Steven Seagal. I told you that would make sense. The two had a very bad experience on the set of Executive Decision. The original script didn't have Tyler killing himself. Instead, a devastated Tyler would take up Slowick's offer to learn, and would be shown washing the dishes and refusing to leave with Margot at the end. An interesting alternate version, to say the least. One less interesting alternate version is the alternate ending. This ending would show firefighters showing up next day. When going inside, they would find Slowick's smiling head on a table with his hands holding a menu. That honestly raises too many questions. I mean, the only person capable of doing that would be Margot. Perhaps in this alternate ending, there were plans to line it up better, but I'm happy we got the ending we got. All the food was prepared and designed by French chef Dominique Crenn. The menu is a good movie and one I genuinely enjoy. While it's centered around food, I think this could easily apply to multiple niches and groups out there. Many people like to bring up how the film is rich versus poor, and well, within the context of this film, that is kind of the case. The plot could be applied at any level. If you watched a ton of cooking channels like Gordon Ramsay stuff, you'll love this movie. If you love thrillers, you'll love this movie. If you just want a fun, dark comedy with a satisfying ending, you'll love this movie. Honestly, the only weird thing is that as I sit here giving my thoughts, I wonder, would some asshole dress me up like a s'mores and burn my ass alongside his entire staff? I don't know if to be insulted or honored if that was the case.
What?
Cod.
God?
It wasn't cod, you donkey.
Hmm.